Hey there, Rachel here. It's day 4 of Shop Talk and the 30-day reset for auto repair shop owners. So, we're here helping you have a reset of your mindset and a reframe that you potentially will need to go on to have an extraordinary year in 2026. So I'm showing up for you here every day for 30 days at a super busy time of year. It's really busy for you. Today is the 14th of December. It's a Sunday, but tomorrow and every working day until Christmas is going to be super busy for you. And the reason that I'm here, if this is the first day that you're catching this 30-day series, is to show up to show you if something is important, you will make time for it. And if you haven't had the year that you wanted to in 2025, or whenever you come to view this video, if you're not having the result in business that you want to, this is your opportunity to just watch a short video to help you reanalyze and reflect on one little aspect of the way you're doing business in your repair shop. And that might be auto repair, so light vehicle, it might be heavy diesel, it might be performance, it might be four-wheel drive, you might be doing caravan repair. Gosh, we've worked with crane repairers, repairers of farm vehicles and machinery, aircon people, auto electricians, the works. It doesn't matter what flavor of repair you do. This video series is for you, and the Workshop Whisperer is for you as well. So I have been at the helm of the Workshop Whisperer since 2014, July 1. As the founder and as the CEO, former workshop owner myself, and now at the helm of this amazing company that helps auto repair shop owners and indeed now repair shop owners of any flavour to achieve business and lifestyle success. Now, yesterday we were talking about the mindset reframe that you might need around continuous time clocking and enforcing the accountability around your technicians needing to be transparent with their time. You pay them for 38 hours or 40 hours, and therefore, we need to capture every minute of their working day so that we can recoup as much of that as possible when we charge out to the customer. So if you didn't see that, then please go back to day 3 and catch that one. Today, we're going to talk about your labour rate specifically. And there's no specific benchmark for labour rate because, as you can imagine, in different markets and indeed in different types of repair, there is a need for a different baseline amount of labour rate to be charged, and it's also different for each business. And it's one of the traps, one of the mindset traps that any type of repair shop owner falls into is comparing their labour rate with that of their competitors. And the reason it's a trap is because you all have different costs of doing business. It would be very rare that you would find two shops in the same area with an identical break-even point. And the reason for that is because you've all got your technicians on slightly different wages or salaries. You've all got slightly different operating costs, and you've all got slightly different costs of doing a job. So to go and compare what you're charging out per hour to the others in your area, while it might be interesting to know, you can't allow it to determine your exact labour rate. And one of the things that we've said, I think, about 11 billion times in the last 12 years at the Workshop Whisperer is that no other shop knows your cost of doing business, just like you don't know theirs. So when you think about it like that, it is madness to think that if say you're in Australia and you're charging out $130 an hour plus GST, which is probably a bit on the low side these days. And then some guy down the road is charging $115 an hour. The mind trick is to have you believe that you're too expensive and customers aren't going to choose you. So you think you have to charge at the lower rate. In reality, you could be funding the hourly wage of 4 extra technicians. You could be funding a shed rental or shed mortgage that means a monthly payment that's twice as big as the guy down the road charging out $115 an hour. In most cases where you find cheaper labour rates, those workshop owners are not even doing any kind of financial analysis to know what they should be charging out. So I think a couple of months ago, I saw some random comment on online Facebook forum regarding my business, The Workshop Whisperer, and a guy came in and said, let me guess, she told you to raise your labour rate. And that was someone who had never worked with us. But I want to state quite clearly that if you're not meeting the labour rate benchmark in terms of what your labour gross profit needs to be, then the only option to get it there is to raise your rate. It's a key indicator that you are not having your labour rate do all it needs to do to contribute to the overall gross profit amount on each invoice. If you are at the labour gross profit rate, well, then you don't need to increase your labour rate. So don't be fooled into thinking that just because you appear to be the most expensive in your area or one of the higher rates, and there seems to be quite a few lower than you, the ones who have their rate too low or do their work too cheaply are not analysing their financial performance. They're not, because you would not be in business just to break even. And that's what happens when your labour rate is too low and your parts margin is also too low. You cannot combine those two things to achieve the benchmark gross profit amount that you need on average on every single invoice, which is between 58 and 62%. So the components of that benchmark, overall GP between 58 and 62%, is labour profit over here and parts profit over here. We add the two together and we get our overall GP. So if your GP overall is not between 58 and 62%, there's only two places for you to look. One is parts, one is labour. And in the case where your labour GP and your parts GP aren't where they should be, you've got a problem with both. When you've got labour GP too low, then it's your labour rate that needs to change. If labour GP is okay and your parts GP is too low, then it's parts GP that has to change. It's not rocket science. It's just simple maths. So please, if you are concerned that your labour rate is too expensive, let's do the numbers first, because if that labour rate is actually where you need to be to get to the labour GP benchmark, then dropping it is going to further hurt your performance. But if it's up there where it needs to be, then there's nothing for you to do on your labour GP. You just got to make sure then that you capture all of your hours so that you are selling all of your available hours. It's really, really easy to let your fear mind take over when you start to notice that there are cheaper hourly rates in your local area. But it is simple maths. If you want to make money in this business, then work to benchmarks, analyze your financial performance, and always know what your margins are on every single invoice. If you're happy for the feast or famine result, the constant struggle, having money 1 month and then not much for a few after that, then don't pay any attention to it. And that's pretty much how it works. We have the businesses over here who are the battlers, the constant strugglers, because they say they don't have time to get invested in their numbers or learn about them. And then we have the businesses over here, where's my hand, here, who are monitoring that. And many of those are clients of the Workshop Whisperer or former clients of the Workshop Whisperer who now have that financial literacy that they gained through our programs to understand how to analyze this stuff on a daily basis. So every single one of our clients in our programs from the engine room upwards contributes to a KPI reporting sheet. And that helps them analyze the 15 Workshop Whisperer key performance indicators, financial benchmarks. So they're looking at their labour GP, their parts GP, their overall GP, their gross profit dollars per hour, their average repair order, technicians, vehicles per technician per day, the effective labour rate. We're looking at productivity. We're looking at efficiency. We're looking at the ratio of technicians to service advisors. When you're analysing these things and gathering the information daily and then having a financial appointment with yourself weekly to run through them, you start to gain confidence about some of the decisions that you make. But if you tell yourself that you don't have time, you have just got to get those invoices out and you never go deep into what the numbers would tell you if you had a look, then as I said at the start of yesterday's session, the result you achieve will only be luck, and that'll either be good luck or bad luck because there is no intention or no intentionality in what you're doing. You are literally flying blind. And more than 50% of the industry, and in fact, more than 50% of small businesses do it that way. They fly blind. And that's okay. And the Workshop Whisperer certainly doesn't think that it is here to be able to help or will be able to help all businesses to learn their numbers and then be intentional to achieve a better result. But certainly for the ones who are ready and reach out, then we are 1,000% on board to help you to a better financial outcome so that you can have a better lifestyle outcome with your family doing the things that you love. So back to your labour rate. Let's let go of the fear of what others are charging, at least until we've done the analysis of our own labour GP. Now, all of our benchmarks are available in our programs from the engine room upwards. And what we want you to be tracking towards, remember, is a labour GP and a parts GP that helps you get as close to a total GP benchmark of 58 to 62%. When you're achieving that on average, remembering, of course, some jobs you'll stuff up, you'll wipe off hours, you won't get the time that you need to contribute on the labour side, or something happens and the correct pricing doesn't go through with the part and you mess up on the parts GP side, and you won't get it on every single invoice. But when you get it as an average, then we know that you've got enough money provided your operating expenses are lean. So the operating expenses part of the profit and loss, when you're on benchmark for GP, you've got enough money to run the business and then have the benchmark net profit at the end of it. Net profit is where you have the opportunity usually to get paid, to take a dividend, and also to service your debts. But the first part of the equation that we've spoken about today and yesterday, so selling all of your hours or capturing all of the hours of your technicians so that you've at least got a chance to sell them all, and ensuring that your labor rate is where it needs to be, not basing it off what others are doing in your area, basing it off what you need to do to achieve the profit you need to fund your business and its operating expenses. Now, from time to time in our free Facebook group, which is called Your Profitable Auto Repair Shop, we will do labour benchmarking exercises where we will start a post and ask the 4,000 odd workshop owners in there to contribute what their current labour charge out rates are. And we always do that with a proviso. Hey, this is just for general information. You can all contribute. You can see around Australia, New Zealand, and the USA and Canada what labour charge out rates are at. And a lot of the time, you'll see comments all through that post of, oh, wow, looks like it's time to raise our labour rate. Well, yes, it might be, but do the maths on your own numbers first. Okay? That's all for today. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that's got you thinking about how it's actually a mathematical equation that should determine for you what your labour charge out rate is, not a look around the area in the first instance. Doing that might trigger you wondering what yours should be, but always base your labour rate decisions on the maths alone. Once you know what the amount is that you need to contribute for labour profit towards your GP, then you can move it to the next stage and think about the quality of the work that you're delivering as well. Because some people who are booked out because of the quality of their work and their reputation also get to add a bit extra onto their labour rate. But for most, just going off what everybody else is doing is a bad idea when you haven't done your own analysis. I hope that's the thing you take away from today, and I hope it is one of the things that you will make time for if you have not been analysing your financial data, especially around labour rates and how much time you're actually capturing from your technicians. If you haven't done that in 2025 or whenever you come to view this video, then make it one of the key things for the next year. All right, team. Great to hang out with you today. I will be back with you tomorrow for day 5 of Shop Talk and the 30-day auto repair shop owner reset. Have a good one.